Most men miss it. They think cheating is always about lipstick on the collar, late nights, or secretive texts. But the truth, the biggest giveaways aren't actions, they're words. An unfaithful woman always says certain things without even realizing it. Little phrases she slips into conversations that reveal the guilt she's trying to bury. Psychology proves it. Language leaks emotion. When she's hiding something, her mouth betrays what her heart and body are trying to cover. Today, I'll expose the phrases that reveal when a woman isn't loyal so you'll never be blindsided again. 1. I just need some space right now. When a woman is faithful, she leans into intimacy. She craves connection, closeness, reassurance. But when she begins to stray or has already crossed that line, you'll notice a sudden shift in her language. One of the first red flags, the phrase, "I just need some space." On the surface, it sounds innocent. Maybe she's stressed. Maybe she's tired. Maybe she just wants alone time. But when you peel back the layers, it's often a coded signal of distance. Distance she's creating with you, because she's already filling that space with someone else. Psychologists call this avoidance justification. People who are secretly betraying a partner create emotional distance before or during the act of physical distance. Needing space becomes the socially acceptable excuse. What she's really saying is, I'm pulling away from you because I'm getting validation somewhere else. The Stoic man doesn't panic. He observes. He watches patterns. Does her space always line up with unexplained nights out? Does she guard her phone when she says it? Does she come back colder, not refreshed? These details reveal whether it's truly about her mental clarity or about making room for another man. Here's the cold truth. When a woman says she needs space and can't explain why, it's often because she doesn't want to admit the real reason. You're not the only one she's close to anymore. 2. You're just overthinking things. Gaslighting is one of the most common weapons of an unfaithful woman. When your instincts pick up on subtle shifts, her late replies, her sudden defensiveness, her constant phone checking, you call it out. And what does she say? You're overthinking things. It sounds dismissive, even comforting, as if she's telling you to relax. But in reality, this phrase often hides guilt. Psychologists label this deflection response. Instead of addressing the suspicion, she flips the narrative, making you feel like the crazy one. It's a subtle way to silence your intuition. Faithful women don't need to gaslight. When they're questioned, they give clarity. They explain. They reassure. But when a woman's being unfaithful, the last thing she wants is more questions. So she attacks your doubt instead of easing it. The Stoic man recognizes thetric. He doesn't argue endlessly. He doesn't beg for explanations. He simply stores the phrase in memory and keeps watching. Because a faithful partner's words and actions align. But an unfaithful one always slips. The more she says you're overthinking, the more you should trust your gut. Remember, your instincts are thousands of years old, sharpened by survival. If something feels off and she silences you with this line, it's not paranoia, it's exposure. 3. Why don't you trust me? This is the dagger line, the one that flips the guilt back on you. When a woman has been unfaithful, she knows the weight of suspicion is creeping in. And instead of answering it directly, she plays the victim. Why don't you trust me? On the surface, it sounds fair. Trust is the foundation of any relationship, right? But notice the manipulation here. She doesn't reassure you with proof, actions, or consistency. Instead, she makes the lack of trust the problem, not the behavior that caused the doubt in the first place. Psychologists describe this as guilt reversal. Instead of her carrying the burden of explaining, she pushes it onto you. Suddenly you're on the defensive, trying to prove you're not insecure, rather than her proving she's been faithful. The Stoic man doesn't get trapped. He sees the shift clearly. When trust becomes a shield against accountability, something is deeply wrong. A faithful woman will calmly provide clarity. She'll show where she's been, explain what happened, reassure through consistent actions. But an unfaithful woman hides behind this line-like armor. And here's the twist. The louder she insists you should trust her, the less trustworthy she's being. True trust doesn't need to be begged for. It's lived day by day. For he's just a friend. Few phrases raise red flags like this one. When a woman is faithful, her Malay friendships are usually transparent. She introduces them openly, includes you in their interactions, and makes you feel secure. But when she leans on the phrase, "he's just a friend," too quickly, too defensively, it's often a mask for something else. Why? Because real friends don't need to be defended. They naturally feel harmless. When she feels the need to insist over and over, "he's just a friend," what she's really doing is minimizing a connection she knows carries a charge. Psychologists call this relationship minimization. When someone is emotionally or physically entangled, but doesn't want accountability, they shrink their relationship down with words. Instead of admitting the weight it carries, they pretend it's light. The Stoic man notices the gaps. Does she guard her phone when the friend texts? Does she suddenly dress differently before meeting a friend? Does her tone get defensive when you ask innocent questions? These aren't accidents, they're signals. Here's the truth. If she really wants you to believe he's just a friend, she wouldn't have to repeat it so often, because genuine friendships prove themselves through openness. It's only when there's something to hide that this line becomes her favorite shield. And every time she says it without realizing it, she reveals the very thing she's trying to conceal. 5. You're being too insecure. This is the killer phrase. Sharp, dismissive, and dripping with projection. When a woman is faithful and you express doubt, she'll reassure you. She'll comfort you. She'll give you reasons to feel safe, but when she's unfaithful, she won't soothe. She'll accuse. You're being too insecure. On the surface, it flips the blame onto you. Makes you question your worth, your sanity, your masculinity. Suddenly, the issue isn't her suspicious behavior. It's your supposed weakness. Psychologists describe this as projection defense. A guilty partner projects insecurity onto the faithful one, creating a smoke screen. If she can make you feel like the problem, you'll stop looking at her actions. The Stoic man doesn't crumble under this attack. He knows there's a difference between insecurity and intuition. Insecurity is fear without evidence. Intuition is when patterns of behavior clash with trust. When she accuses you of insecurity while avoiding transparency, she's exposing herself more than you. And here's the paradox. The woman who insists you're insecure is usually the one creating the very conditions for insecurity to exist. Faithfulness removes doubt. Infidelity breeds it. So when she says you're too insecure, without realizing it, she's actually confessing, "I'm giving you reasons not to trust me." If you want to master the psychology of attraction, loyalty, and betrayal, the things women live by but rarely admit, hit that subscribe button right now and drop the word truth in the comments if you're ready to start seeing through every excuse, every deflection, every phrase an unfaithful woman hides behind. Because once you know what to listen for, her secrets will never stay secret again.